doesn't it give me the option? Why I cannot get the YouTube down? Close it. Can you help me?
I'm not sure what you see, but if you can mute it,
I
that should solve the problem too.
This one?
I remember, I can't see your screen fully.
Why?
I only see the PDF.
No.
You can mute it.
I
That should solve the problem too.
This one?
I also just muted you on Zoom. You need to either X out of YouTube or mute the video there so that you don't hear my voice and everybody's voice again. And once you do that, you can unmute yourself on Zoom.
Okay, is YouTube on now, inshallah?
Yes.
Okay, you see the screen now as well?
Yes.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين ربي أني مسني الضر وأنت أرحم الراحمين اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وارنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وارنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين. Please. Shahira, it is your turn now.
Oh, sorry. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. It's good to have all of you here with us in the middle of Ramadan. Just wanted to say that, alhamdulillah, we have been discussing the phrase Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim for the past 20 weeks. And we are going to, inshallah, dive deeper into this discussion, more so into understanding who we are as human beings through this phrase Bismillah. A few quick guidelines. This is a guided discussion or conversation on the phrase Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, an often used and repeated and perhaps taken for granted phrase in our daily lives. And we welcome participation and questions. If anything intrigues you or makes you think, hey, this is interesting and it's new to me, but I don't quite know what to make of it, we want to hear from you. and we look forward to your comments and questions. So you can either do that by putting your hand up and unmuting yourself, or raising your questions and sharing your comments in the chat box. Before I start, I'd like to thank the previous moderator, Farah, for articulately and beautifully discussing the previous halaqah, the previous class. And I'd like to give a quick summary, inshallah, of what we have been learning so far. Bismillah has been the subject of our discussion in our class for the past 20 weeks, and that in itself reflects the depth of the meaning of this phrase that we are learning to use with more consciousness. Through this phrase, we're also discovering aspects of our belief that we may have been taking for granted. And through our belief and through our investigation and exploration of this text and our existence and personal experiences, we will be able to understand and use Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim with deeper meaning, consciousness, and practicality. Through Bismillah, our existence and status as a created being is explained. As we live our lives, the most crucial thing the most crucial knowledge is the knowledge of our createdness, because it leads us to the Creator. And for the past few weeks, we've discussed several main concepts, such as divine oneness, divine mercy, and what they mean to us, not just on an existential level, but in the pragmatics of our daily lives. The Creator is the most merciful, and he manifests divine mercy not only in the universe that he has presented to us, but also within ourselves. The act of bringing us into existence is divine mercy, and the act of bringing the sun, the moon, elements and minerals, plants and animals is also divine mercy for us, because everything is subjugated to us to fulfill our needs, even the pain and difficulties that we endure. Like the virus that we are inflicted by currently. The phrase Bismillah, it acts as an intercessor for our needs, our physical needs, from our physical needs to the intellectual, to the emotional, and especially our need for meaning and purpose. And due to the nature of our existence, we have needs, and we have been given various intercessors to help us seek the source of our existence and everything that sustains us. Our Rabb, who nurtures us and administers our affairs with wisdom, perfect timing, and in order and harmony. So much so that we may not even be aware that we are experiencing an interwoven tapestry of the Creator's qualities during this constant act of creation and of creating us. As we have been discussing Bismillah for the past 20 weeks, I find it so interesting in the previous classes especially, that as we are brought to attention to our need for divine mercy, and we're brought attention to our constant state of need, we're also reminded of our importance and how Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is teaching us what it truly means to be human. Every quality, feeling, question, curiosity, sense of wonder, and need that we have was given to us, and we're merely discovering them. We have a need for purpose and meaning because we've been given human dignity and a unique form of existence and coming into the world. And that is what we're going to further discuss and explore today. So if I have Dr. Murman's permission, I'd like to read this paragraph. Bismillah. O man, is it at all possible that the one who gives you this face and places such a stamp of mercy and seal of oneness on it would leave you to your own devices, attach no importance to you, pay no attention to your actions, make the whole universe which is turned towards you futile and pointless, and make the tree of creation rotten and insignificant with decayed fruit? Would he cause his mercy to be denied, although it is as obvious as the sun, as well as his wisdom, which is as clear as daylight, and neither of which can in any way be doubted, nor in any way deficient? God forbid. If anyone has any questions or comments at this point, please feel free to put your hand up. Otherwise, I would be happy to raise some of my own questions at this point. Okay, so as I was reading this, I was really curious about this idea about these phrases, stamp of mercy and seal of oneness. And what is it really alluding to? Like, how do we know it's a stamp of mercy and seal of oneness? How do we know what we are experiencing is mercy and a demonstration of the Creator's oneness? And perhaps it would be useful for me to summarize the last section of last week's class, in that Dr. Murmur said that everything has a unique way of coming into existence, and that is what is implied in this word, in this sentence. Is it at all possible that the one who gives you this face, it reminds us that we are, each and every one of us, we're created in a unique and specific way to be ourselves in this world. And everything around us, everything in this universe is created for us. So how do we know that this is a reflection of mercy and his oneness? That is what I would like to ask our group today.
Fariha raised.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Go ahead, Fariha.
First of all, thank you so much, Shahira, for this beautiful introduction. Mashallah, it's really well said. It makes the case very clear, refreshes my understanding of existence. So alhamdulillah, I thank everyone here for sharing in, and then we share out, and then it makes more sense. It's like connecting pieces of the puzzle together. So that was my excitement. And this question that you posed before, in terms of how do I know what I experience is a stamp of mercy? While you were reading, I was thinking, what is a stamp or a seal? Usually if we get a letter or something, if there's a stamp on it or seal on it, it's, it makes it official. It makes it, it's important. It's somebody's really, it's official, right? It's somebody's trying to convey something and it makes it official. And so the one that's, and we're talking about stamp of mercy and seal of oneness, as in the creation of everything, I must see this stamp or this seal of a one that is ever present everywhere, as in it's important. It's from a, what do you say? something very official. And so, like you were saying, that we all are given various, everything has a unique way of coming into existence, or the way things are displayed, they reflect or manifest different qualities. So even if I'm looking at two squirrels, although it may look like squirrels, but they are both different in their ways. And and then if I look at a cat, it's definitely different. And if I look at a bird, it's definitely different in its face and form. But if I really question in terms of how it's brought into existence or the qualities it's manifesting, so I see the squirrel keeps hopping from tree to tree, the bird keeps flying, in the sky, and then the insect keeps going from here and there. And I question this act of creation, and I question the creation of it. And then I look at myself, I also question, my creation and my existence. And if I boil everything to its creation part, the createdness, like you pointed out, I think that would be the seal, the stamp, that anything in existence has this seal of createdness in it. So I wanted to start with this, how I understand the seal. I see the seal of createdness in everything. And then mercy and oneness. Mercy would be how my relationship or how I interact with the thing. So I may be interacting with the bird, I may feel, joy, or just looking at the squirrel, it's exciting. So these qualities would point to the seal of createdness. And that's what I wanted to share thus far. Hopefully that should open up the discussion, inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fariha. As you were explaining that, it actually something actually clicked in my mind that, oh yeah, it is almost like a signature of the Creator's mercy. Everything has his signature on it. So that makes a lot of sense. And it's also like almost like a reminder of the Creator's authority and his will that is on everything around us, that we need to be reminded of. And through this discussion of Bismillah, like Farah mentioned last week, it's like renewing our connection to the source, renewing our connection to the Creator. And this phrase, stamp of mercy and seal of oneness, has the same effect on me. It's renewing this idea that I have a connection, and everything around me, every created being out there has a connection to that same Creator. Does anybody else have any questions or comments, or would like perhaps for Dr. Murmur to explain this concept to the class? You are free to chat in the chat box or to raise your hand. Okay, Mohammed Said, feel free to unmute yourself.
Assalamu alaikum. As it was emphasized in your summary as well, this uniqueness got my attention. When I asked this question to myself, how come the beings are unique, each of them? Each butterfly is unique. There are different types of butterflies, but the individuals are also unique. We are all unique. And what is the source of this uniqueness? And when I take this question seriously, it takes me to the conclusion that whatever the source of the whole universe, the existence of the whole universe must be the source of this uniqueness. So it shows me that if you like, the production of the things are individually being treated we are all being treated individually. That's why we are unique, or the result of or the reason of uniqueness shows me that I am being treated individually, specifically, and like everything else. That's the point came to my mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. That was beautifully said. You're right that we are also being reminded of the creator's uniqueness. And interestingly, in the previous discussion, we came to this realization that the creator, he designed us to be unique, and he himself is not subject to the order of the universe that he created, unlike us. And that itself it demonstrates his uniqueness. And I believe that our uniqueness is a reflection of his absoluteness and divine existence. Anyone else would like to share their comments or questions? This paragraph, it almost seems like it's too obvious. Like it seems simple enough. Okay. All right. Ahmed, please unmute yourself. Please share. Thank you.
As Muhammad explained, all the creation, when you come from the atoms and molecules, like a graphene can become the placement of the atoms, like at the molecular level, all those things look the same. As you go above in the creation, there is a certain uniqueness. But in the created, this uniqueness manifests itself. When I think about it as if I'm different from you, it's because I lack something that you have, and you lack something that I have. Because if two things are identical, then they are the same and one. If we are different, then we must be lacking something that each other might have or not have. Whereas when you go up, a creator, this cannot manifest, because then, you can't have one creator. Because so at the creator, the seal of oneness merges as you can't have two. So that's how I understand it. At the creation level, it has to be one, because if there was like more, then one of them would be missing something that the other has. And that means it can't be given itself what it's lacking. So it can't be a creator. And the stamp of mercy is when you think, this is how we receive things. This whole creation could have become as identical things. We could be like identical atoms. Instead, we are all given separate attention, I would say. So we are all, in a way, special. We understand the universe in our own different ways. We understand our creator in our different ways as well. Like everybody's perception is, with his relationship with God, Allah, is different. That's how I would say. And that's a mercy. That individual attention is given to everyone and every one of us.
Thank you, Ahmed. I think for many of us, or for some of us, that it seems very obvious that this diversity, this uniqueness, reflects mercy and the creator's oneness. But why is it necessarily mercy for there to be diversity in his creations? Wouldn't it be so much simpler if everyone was the same? I think that's something we sometimes take for granted. Would you like to expand on your comment, Ahmed or Mohammed?
I would say, sorry, because if every one of us was the same, then we would be judged very, very harshly. if we all had the same qualities, if we were given the same amount of cognition, same amount of riches, same amount of beauty, then imagine only one of us would look really good amongst us and the others would be missing their duties as a servant of God. Instead, now we are given, I'm not going to say an excuse, but a way of being judged in our own ways, in our own circumstances. And that's a mercy. Imagine if two kids are being the same and their mother would be treating them with the same judgment. You know, why are you doing this? Look at your brother. He's better than you. Right now, it's kind of giving us that leeway, saying that we are all different, so we should be all judged differently. I think that's a big mercy.
Thank you. Absolutely. Fariha, would you like to share?
Yes, so you were saying if everything was the same, you know, then if everything was the same, then I won't even question anything. It would be just static and there would be nothing to even observe because everything is the same. So just like this whole part of how things are different, the diversity aspect makes me then question the source of existence of everything. And when I question the source of existence of everything, then this existence points to a single source. So when we conclude that there must be a source of existence giving existence to everything, so that is the seal of oneness. And that's how, I mean, I took that understanding of seal of oneness. And also you were saying, so why mercy necessarily? Why is this the stamp of mercy? So mercy then would point to, like, now, since everything is different, it's dynamic, and I question things I see, like everything is constantly changing. So when I question the source of existence of it, then since everything then points to a single source of existence, and then that's how I get to know that there must be an absolute source of existence giving existence to everything. And so then things then become more purposeful for me, as in I see a point in presenting me a universe where there's variations, there is diversity, there is change, constant change. And so then this then becomes mercy in and of itself, because through it, I get to know the source of my existence. And so this whole part of Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim becomes more like a live and active expression within ourselves and all around it.
Host, would you like to speak? Thank you, Fariha, by the way.
Thank you for your beautiful, very concise and to the point introduction to the subject. I'm very impressed about it, and also all the comments made so far by our friends. I just wanted to maybe repeat what is already said, but at the same time emphasize on one important point from my point of view: mercy. How can I see this stamp of mercy, a sign of mercy in my existence? Of course, I'm, as our friends mentioned on several occasions, because of the importance of the subject, I am created uniquely. What does it mean? I am treated uniquely. It means the creator of the whole universe has meant to create me and specially put me in the universe. I am treated in an individual way so that I can communicate with the creator in an individual way. So I understand that the whole universe, although it has endless, innumerable number of creatures in it, but I have received a special treatment from my creator. And by this way, I get the message from my creator that, look, you are not an ordinary one. You are a limited issue, if you like. You are a special thing for me. And I feel that the whole, the creator of the whole universe is treating me in a special way, giving me a very precious status in creation. From there, I understand that I am here in this universe as if whole universe is presented to me particularly, because I have been given special qualities unique to me. Through my special qualities, I will communicate with the universe again in a way that it will be unique for me, so that my creator will communicate with me in a special way. Can you imagine, for example, you are one of the 6-7 billion people on earth, but at the same time, let's say the owner of the earth is calling you, giving you a call and asking you, for example, let's say to me, Assalamu alaikum Ali, how are you doing today? How great it is. And is everything okay for you now? Are you happy with what all I have created for you? Now, how are you communicating with me through the things that I am creating? It means, how do you see me in your own eyes? How do you appreciate me as the one who have presented everything to you, specifically to you as far as you are concerned? As far as I am concerned, everything is presented to me and specifically to me. Now, if it is not mercy, what is mercy? So as far as my existence is concerned, the paragraph will continue that I have been given a special status in the creation of the whole universe. So as if the universe is created for me. I can, as far as I am concerned, I can say the universe is created for me. I am the ultimate purpose of the existence of the universe. How precious I am and how honorable I am in the eyes of my creator. So if it is not mercy, what is mercy then? If the whole universe is given to me, what else I should want? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Murmur. As you were speaking, it came to my mind that it's true. Everything in the universe is a form of communication to me, for me, and that is something I take for granted. And when we realize this, we begin to seek to understand the Creator and the Creator's ways of reaching out to us, his language of speaking to us. That is so unique because he himself is unique and does not communicate with us the way other created beings do. I also became very curious about this analogy of the tree of creation. And I was thinking for myself, in terms of myself, how is this paragraph speaking to me? In what ways have I perhaps thought to myself, is a creator not paying attention to my actions? Is what is this tree of creation as well, and how does it pertain to my life right now? And I was wondering if you could actually expand on this, Dr. Murmur.
Oh, Putting me on the spot. Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. As I would like to continue to the speech that, or to what I have said before. So if the universe is likened to a tree, so I am the fruit of it. That is the point in this paragraph, as far as I can see, that the tree is growing, the huge, huge universe, unimaginably complicated but perfectly arranged universe, very sophisticated, everything to the point, full of wisdom. Many, many qualities are manifested at the same time with no confusion. On the contrary, just complementary elements arranged in the perfect way so that the universe is perfectly continuing to exist. And I am the fruit of it. If, I think, as the text says, if the fruit is not utilized, esteemed, is not seen as the most important purpose of the tree of the universe, tree of the creation, left alone and got rotten, as the text says. And do you think the one who gave existence to the universe will leave you, every individual man, because everybody is created in a specific way, in a unique way. So everybody can say, do you think the whole universe is created for me, and the creator of the universe will leave me decay, got rotten, and will have no consequence of my existence? It is so, as the text says, it is so obvious. It is so obvious here, like the sun. And the wisdom requires that I should not be neglected and left to get decayed and rotten at the end of my existence. I am the purpose of creation. Every individual can say this, because every individual is created in a unique way. I am the purpose of the creation as far as the creator is concerned. So I should not be despaired of falling into non-existence through my death. So I can never, ever expect from my creator to leave me alone at the end of my life on this type of creation in the world. Definitely, I am the purpose of the creation of this universe. That analogy of tree puts me in the position of the fruit of the tree. Do you think a farmer will grow? And it's a simple example, and human reason can grasp it easily. A farmer will grow a tree, and when the tree gives the fruit and lets the fruit go rotten, pays no attention to it, it is impossible. That's how I understand the purpose of this paragraph is to prepare our minds that our life has been deliberately created in this way, and we are given the news that the end of our life in this type of creation cannot be non-existence at all. I am the purpose of the creation. How I can say that I will be at the end of my life so insignificant, useless, totally futile being, let alone and left alone to get rotten. It is impossible. it means I can understand that I am being subject to a merciful type of creation, a type of creation that the mercy lets me feel secure in my existence. Look, deliberately, I am the, if you like, pupil of the eye of my creator, if you like. I am the pupil of the eye of my creator, like a child. Example, just an analogy. How the mother prepares and takes care of the baby in her womb, and then as soon as baby is born, kills it. Can you imagine? Although the mother is not the creator of it, but how precious the baby will be, because she carried her and it is her production, etc. I mean, I know that it's not her production, but it is given to her specifically. So in this way, we understand that since God has created me specifically, will take care of me specifically as far as my fear, my concern of my life. When I think about death, from the way I am created, I am giving the security, if you like, that I am going to be taken into account perfectly, and I am going to be treated perfectly by my creator. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Murmur. Does anyone else have any comments or questions? I find that this paragraph really answered some of my major human questions about myself and my life. And it really resonated with me. So if anybody else has any comments, feel free to share, because I do think that this is something all of us at some level can relate to, and we can all appreciate being reminded that we are not left to our own devices, and that we have a significant place in this universe, and everything is actually turned towards us, not that the world is against us, which sometimes it feels that way. But as the author is reminding us, that is not the case. The universe is turned towards us, and everything has a purpose and a reason. And we have been gifted and blessed with this need to have purpose, and we have been given it, and we have to look for it. In the previous discussion, the author says, find that intercessor. So find that divine mercy in your life and realize that it was given to you to fit your particular need, particular situation, in a very merciful way. And I felt that was very, very useful for me. I guess I would now repeat this part of the paragraph. Would he cause his mercy to be denied, although it is as obvious as the sun, as well as his wisdom, which is as clear as daylight, and neither of which can in any way be doubted or in any way deficient? God forbid. How is it as obvious as the sun? Is it because it's something that we all benefit and gain from? All the creations in the world benefit from the light and the warmth of the sun. And how do we know that it's not deficient in any way? That's something that I find myself asking. if I have Dr. Muhammad's permission, I'd like to continue to the next paragraph. O man, understand that there is a way to ascend to the throne of divine mercy, and that is in the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate. If you want to understand the importance of this ascent, look at the beginning of the 114 suras of the Qur'an of Miraculous Exposition, and at the beginning of all estimable books, and at the start of all good works. A clear proof of the God-determined grandeur of In the Name of God is that Imam Shafi, may God be pleased with him, one of the very foremost Islamic scholars, said, "In the name of God, the Merciful, the Compassionate," is only one verse, yet it was revealed 114 times in the Quran. So as we're all digesting this new reflection, I'd like to briefly highlight that a few weeks ago we discussed this idea of ascension and what it means to ascend to the throne of divine mercy. And if anyone would like to share what they remember from that discussion, or what they think this means, please feel free to do so, because I think it is a very curious thing to think about. What is this throne of divine mercy? What does throne, what does it symbolize in this context? H. Beza, please go ahead. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for your summary from earlier and all the comments. Really benefiting myself. Thank you. I'm not sure if I will be able to answer your question, but I kind of wanted to backtrack a little bit to the other question that you had asked before, and kind of share my reflections, although it will be in part, I think, repeated, if not in full, but just wanted to contribute things from my perspective. So I, in relation to the first paragraph that we read specifically, the tree of creation, as it says, or the fruit of the tree of creation is such that through the stamp of mercy and the seal of oneness, then these things become a means through which then I am not left to my own devices, that my being becomes important through him, that my actions are paid attention to, and the entirety of the universe is turned towards me, thereby making my life and my existence meaningful. And I was thinking to myself, when I look at myself, I have a particular need to be individually addressed. It's not like a one size fits all sort of situation where I guess I'm not sure how, if it's one thing if you may go to a store to buy a pair of shoes and it's a one size made all in a way, like there's size 6, 7, 8, whatever, and you find the one that fits you, but it's not that the manufacturer individually thought of you to have that particular size made to fit your foot in particular, meaning that the manufacturer did think about the fact that there are different people with different size feet, but not individual to you per se. It's not specifically individually made for me or for you, whereas in my I guess my expectations with my creator, I would expect for something to be truly merciful for myself, I would expect it to be individually addressed. I wouldn't want like everything is created and then I'm given existence, and then it's just like I benefit as a as a result that everything else is also in creation. Whereas, you know, meaning that like I don't want to be like a secondary factor. I would want things to point to me specifically as well. So basically within myself, I have this need to be individually addressed. And so when I look at the way that things come into existence, you know, it's just incredible in the sense that, you know, there is not a single moment of existence that is stagnant, you know, whether, no matter which perspective I really look at it, whether it's, you know, physically, I'm constantly changing, even if I may not be able to perceive it with my eyes, I do perceive it over what I, you know, label as the course of time. And, you know, my thoughts and my feelings are constantly like, they're like a current, they're constantly in motion. So in a way, I experience, I mean, not in a way, in innumerable ways, I experience this continuous bringing into existence of things, myself being at the center of all of this. And in such a experience, I guess it looks inevitably to the on one hand the absoluteness of the source, but that in the bringing of existence of all those things that I'm experiencing, it looks to the uniqueness or the individuality of those things that are being brought into existence. Like right now as I'm speaking is not identical to this moment right now as I'm speaking still. So in a way, like whatever my needs were a couple of seconds ago, whereas whatever my needs are now, you know, just to make it simple, like my need for oxygen is constantly being met. And the and I guess what I'm trying to get at is, you know, first and foremost, I find this need within myself to be individually addressed. And then when I look at existence of things and myself, I see that everything must be coming from a conscious will, a conscious source that is constantly bringing things into existence, thereby kind of meeting, or not kind of, thereby meeting this particular need in me to establish or experience this unique experience or relationship with my creator. So whatever meaningfulness that I can extract from my existence is also unique to me in that particular moment, because no one else exists as I do in all respects identical. You know, you know, it's in you can't, I mean, we can just say we both exist. Maybe that's the extent to which the similarities go. But so I don't know. I was thinking about how, you know, how it fits and how you know, how much of a need within myself that I have actually for this, and that in knowing or in concluding that the conscious source must be bringing things into existence, then as was said earlier, then I can extend this and say, you know, not only do I want to be individually addressed, but I in my need to be individually addressed, I want to be always addressed, so that my being addressed is meaningful for me. So my existence and my purpose or my life is meaningful for me, and that extends, or then I find security that in my individual existence of experience of existence at every single moment, it will continue to be so even after I experience what is known as my physical death. Hopefully that made some sense.
Thank you, H. Beza. It made perfect sense. And yes, I appreciate that you brought into the discussion once again this idea that there is no stagnant moment, and even ourselves, we are constantly being created in every moment. And that's something that I learned in this class, and I'm still trying to grasp this idea that we are constantly coming into creation, because as we experience it, it doesn't seem that way. It seems seamless from moment to moment. And that is a reflection of his greatness, right? That we don't even realize that there's this constant creation happening to us and around us, because it all seems to be moving so smoothly. And I am also thinking about this, what human need is being fulfilled as I am being individually addressed by my creator. And as you mentioned, it is the sense of security that the one who created me knows me best and is designing my creation and my life and my universe in such a way that is fulfilling my needs, fulfilling my concerns. And if I can, I'd like to repeat what Dr. Murma said in the previous classes, that each and every one of us is a universe in our own way. So that's something I hope we can reflect on. And there's a question by Ahmed here. What makes us the fruit of the tree of life, where every bird and butterfly also has the stamp of mercy and the oneness of him? And that's an excellent question. It's something that crossed my mind as well. What makes us the fruit of this tree of life? And if anyone has any response to that, I think all of us would appreciate it. Host, please go ahead. Thank you.
That's a beautiful question. Of course, we have to understand how are we going to appreciate our existence in the universe. As far as I am concerned, it doesn't mean that the whole universe is created to me within my own experience, how I see my existence, how I see the qualities given to me in my existence, that I can communicate with the whole universe through my unique qualities to me. So my conclusion is, as a conscious being, I'm aware of myself, am created with consciousness. I am aware of myself. I am aware of my position in the creation, and also how I can respond back to the source of my existence. I am aware of it. That's what we are studying here. Bismillah is the means of ascension to my creator. That is another subject. It doesn't, as far as the question is concerned, my claim to be the fruit of the universe, as far as I am concerned, does not exclude your claim to be the fruit of your universe. That is how wonderful the creation is realized by the absolute creator. My claim of the universe is created for me does not exclude your claim of the universe as created for you. That is the wonder in the creation of the universe, and that's why I can easily conclude with no doubt that the creator of the universe must be absolute. There is no other way to explain the existence of this universe, because every individual being in the creation is given unique feature. It means every individual, as far as its capacity allows it, I don't know the other creatures' capacities, I've never been them, So I know myself, I don't know you, I don't know how the bird feels about its own existence. What gives me a clue about this matter, at the same time, in my existence, I see that the need of my creator to explain the purpose of my existence in a way that I can understand, which is revelation. I receive this revelation through the messengers and I hear them. It is interesting to read, to learn from this revelation that everything, single being in the universe glorifies the creator, the same creator, in a unique way to its own self. That is so important, and it is almost inexplicable how perfect the creation is. Every single being is unique in its existence, and every single being individually responds back to its creator through its own capacity, through the way it is created, and nothing is complicated, and the creator communicates with all of them at the same time without being anything an obstacle to another thing. It is impossible to explain within the conditions of this universe that the universe's existence is somehow accidental or just by itself. I don't know how these people can satisfy themselves with this kind of interpretations. If we pay attention, it is obvious that the source of existence of the universe is unimaginable, undescribable at all, or indescribable, I don't know the word, indescribable at all in terms of this universe. That's why I have to say a creator, which cannot be describable within the conditions of this universe. The best word that possible that we can use is absolute. So in the language of the revelation, it is called ahad. It means nothing can be compared with it at all. Forget about it. Don't try even. You will fail. You cannot. That's why we have to, if you like, fall in prostration and admit the reality out there and come back to the paragraph we are studying now. Try to ascend to the throne, to his throne. Now, since our subject is now in this second paragraph, there's a throne of divine mercy. It means divine mercy is manifesting itself in this world in a created form, but human consciousness, as far as I am concerned, I'm conscious of it, I have to respond back to him. Where I have to go back and present my conclusion, my happiness, my pleasure in being created in this way, and present my creation to him, declaring that my existence belongs to you alone. That's why I need to ascend back to the throne. Why throne? Because the zenith or the pinnacle of everything, every quality I can see must be submitted to its source. This source is the throne of the universe, or the throne of all the qualities. For example, I can see the manifestations of the, for example, an author, I'm trying to think of a simple example. An author has written, let's say, 10 different books, and each book deals with different subject. what we understand that this same author, the author of these 10 books, must be the source of the knowledge. It is presented there. So if I want to thank the author, what should I say? Or collect all the books and the information there and present to him that, to the author himself, saying that all this information belongs to you. All of them belongs to you, and I appreciate your knowledge. So the throne is a kind of source of the qualities manifested in this, but these qualities, the qualities, manifested qualities, must be in their original source in the form of infinite. It means absolute. In order to reach there, what I have to understand that I need to declare my pleasure with the mercy I received back to its source and present it to him. It means submit back to him, saying that all the ways that I have been treated in a merciful way is from you. I appreciate it. I admit it. I submit it back to you. I don't say that I am lucky. I don't say that nature blessed me. No, these are nonsense. I know everything is from you. The ultimate source of the all qualities is the throne of divine authority or divine source. That is the throne where the Creator, in its own unique existence, has it. And the universe is the place of his execution, if you like, or manifestation, reflection of these qualities all over the universe at the same time. Everything exists because of his creatorship. Everything is created in a unique way because of its absoluteness. Everything is created in a purposeful way with the perfect wisdom. It is coming from his absolute wisdom, returning back. In this way, this ascension is given to me that I can make this ascension through using this phrase. In the name of God, I see my own existence. In the name of God, I see the existence of everything else, who is the most merciful, most compassionate. I am returning back to his throne. That is the only way I can ascend to his throne. Otherwise, of course, it doesn't mean this ascension is a physical way that I am going to him. He is always with me, but through my consciousness, transformation of consciousness, I am returning back to him. That is my ascension. It means I am returning the merciful treatment in my existence to its source, which the source is next to me. It means in my creation, but I have to return it back through my consciousness that this act of creation is just a manifestation, is just a reflection. Through my consciousness, I have to admit that he is the creator himself, is not within the universe, but the reflections of his qualities I am experiencing, my consciousness refers it back to its source of existence, which cannot be describable within the universe, cannot be seen within the universe, because it is his work. It is not if you like, the universe is not him. Universe is his work, witnessing to his existence. I have to go through this stage, which will be my ascension. Thank you. I'm sorry I spoke a lot, so long. Sorry.
Thank you, Dr. Merber. That was a much needed explanation of the phrase, the throne of divine mercy, because it seems very mysterious to me what this throne is. And I think that it also points back to us ascending to our higher purpose in life, or our true purpose in life, which is to have a relationship with the Creator and to acknowledge this relationship and to acknowledge the Creator in a way that is most befitting for the Creator, because of his absoluteness. And this act of ascending is also interesting because we are also returning to the Creator and declaring his order and his mercy upon all of his creations. And it's interesting how this is likened to ascending, that we are being elevated by this act of acknowledging his mercy, of acknowledging him. And that is how we almost like rise above any situation in our lives, by saying Bismillah, by understanding the meaning of Bismillah and understanding the purpose of our creation and the importance of our creation, which we may forget sometimes as we go on with our daily lives and become a part of this social fabric, and it seems like we're just one person in such a huge society. But in fact, we have a significance in his creations. So I really appreciate this idea of ascending and rising above all of that noise, all of that confusion in our lives sometimes, and reaching the pinnacle of our purpose, inshallah, through Bismillah. If anyone else has any comments, please, feel free to raise your hand. We would love to hear from you, because this is a very fascinating topic to be discussing together, especially during Ramadan, and we're fasting, we're abstaining from the things that we usually have access to, but currently we are fasting. We are like almost like denying ourselves of things that we usually can do or we can have. And how is this all related to our ascension? So that's something that I would like to think about. Okay, so if there's no comments or questions, I guess I will just continue to the next sentence. If you want to understand the importance of this ascent, look at the beginning of the 114 suras of the Qur'an of Miraculous Exposition, and at the beginnings of all estimable books, and at the start of all good works. How do we know the importance of this ascent? How can we find it at the beginning of all the suras? How is it that the repetition of Bismillah is a sign of its determined grandeur. That's something I would like to understand a bit more. If you have any ideas, please share. Fariha, please go ahead. Thank you.
So, you know, I feel that this whole Bismillah Rahman Rahim, I think that's our state of being. If we think about it, we are in the state of being of, in the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate. Every created thing is in this state of being. And so it's really reading, like, you know, taking a pause and really reading what is it that that I'm interacting with. So if I really ponder into the source of existence of anything, even my existence, how come this is coming to existence? How come the bird is flying? How come the particle is going into my body and somehow something is being processed? And how is all this happening? Like the existential part of thing then makes me connect to a one that's bringing things into existence. So, you know, it's very interesting. Like everything in creation is in this state of mode, in this state of being, of Bismillah. And it's just a matter of reading it. And that's what we are encouraged to do as human beings. We have to read creation. We have to read ourselves. And so when we do so, what's the first thing? What's the first step? It's I question the source of my existence. I question the source of existence of the sunlight. I question the source of existence of the food. And you mentioned this, you know, this blessed month that is being given to us as a gift, where we are, you know, it's a matter of also questioning our daily routine, where we go on, you know, eating is a good example. And then now, you know, we keep eating as in like different times of the day, but like really, what is this? What am I supposed to do with this? There must be a, like you were saying, a bigger purpose to it, right? I'm not just given existence just to eat. And so I think, yeah, questioning more on the existence of everything, this need that I have. Why am I given hunger? Why am I given my thirst? Why am I made in this needy situation? How do I explain the existence of my needs? How do I, just like the existence part of it? And so when we interact with the food, how do I explain the existence of the food, and how everything is also like manifesting certain qualities. So act of creation is constant, like everybody mentioned that. It's very obvious. It's just like the author is saying, there's no denying in the sunlight or the sun, right? The same thing, there's no denying in existence itself. It's all around us, but really, am I reading it? Am I recognizing my true purpose? Am I recognizing that I am being brought into existence through a divine, merciful act, really? And so, you know, the author mentioning it's the start of all things good. Yeah, this is it. I mean, that's the first stepping stone to, it's like, I have what do you say? Like, I don't know, a pie, right? There's something filling inside and I just poke it. So it's the start of it. It's just like poking in it, but there's something, you know, delicious inside. And, but I need to first recognize this in the name of God part. Thank you.
Absolutely, Fariha. And you're right. If, you know, everything is in a state of Bismillah, and everything that we do starts with Bismillah, that means everything that we do can be a part of our ascension, inshallah. Farah, please go ahead.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. It's the point that you were talking about, the repetition, I guess, of the phrase Bismillah. It's an interesting one, and something that I think the point has been made a few times about this observation or this experience that we have of everything being in continuous motion or being in continuity or being dynamic. And to see this phrase as being a continuous interpretation of our experience, you know, even though it's a phrase that in its letters is static, but we know that meaning in its definition is not bound by time and space. And so depending on where we are in our ascension, quote unquote, in this process of realization of the manifested qualities that we observe within our universe or within the universe outside. And depending on where we are in this relationship that we have begun with the source of our existence, depending on how much we put in, and as the was mentioned right before about this idea of like constant questioning. So depending on where we are in this process of realization, this relationship with the source of existence, with this expansion of awareness and consciousness, this phrase, by definition, is supposed to have to take a new or a different meaning or a renewed meaning, depending on our capacity and our position at that time. The other thing that came to mind, and I noticed this, I guess it's also very human of us, that as human beings, we go through phases of like intensity, like we have a lot of energy, then we have a slump, this concept of like, things starting out very strong in the beginning and then slowing down and then resting and plateauing and then starting up again. And rather than seeing this slump or this plateauing period as something negative or something wrong, it is definitely part of nature, of our nature, of how we are created. We observe this not only in us, but in the creation around us. And I find that something like the repetition aspect, or this, this recurring aspect of this phrase sort of comes in every moment to renew that moment, to give it again, connect us with that merciful part, which is even in that seemingly negative time or slump or this like slowness or seeming staticness, but not really staticness. It is used again as an interpreter or as a key to connect us with the meaning coming from the source of that existence, of the existence of that moment. And so hence sort of renewing or transforming our our slump, as you could say. So to say that, yes, it's very human of us to sort of forget, to slack off, to become, to go into despair. And I think the fact that something as simple as this, sort of the meaning of this phrase, can be brought in at any given moment to renew our worldview, just as if we heard it for the first time, makes this repetition aspect of this phrase significant to me.
Thank you, Farah. What I appreciated about your comment is that, as we were discussing today, a lot of it was, abstract, but you brought it back, you and Fariha, you brought it back to the practical use of Bismillah and the practicality of renewing the meaning every time we use Bismillah in our lives, and every time in renewing like the meaning of why we fast as well. So I think that's something all of us can benefit from, inshallah, and I appreciate that. So as we come to the end of the class, if anyone has any final comments or question, this would be the time. But yeah, it is the end of the class now, and I really appreciated all of your questions and thoughts that were shared today. It really helped with the discussion. Jazakumullah khair.
Thank you very, very much for a beautiful moderation and also handling the subject, getting into the deep meaning of the text we read. Thank you, alhamdulillah. I'm very grateful. Inshallah, I would like to see you again on Monday at 6:30 Eastern Time, and next Saturday again, 11:30 as usual. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim, wa akhir da'wahum and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam.
Alaikum salam, everyone. Alaikum salam. Habib, we don't hear you, Habib.
Alhamdulillah.
How are you? Inshallah, everything is okay.
Alhamdulillah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, with you, with Tahira. Okay, I have to stop YouTube. How I do it from here. Wassalamu alaikum.